I'm Erica from the Zonta Club of Armidale. Zonta Says No to Violence, an international campaign to prevent gender-related violence with a focus on violence against women and girls. We invite you to engage with or look at these videos and think about how you can contribute to raise awareness and or prevent violence against women and girls.
I have dealt with some of my colleagues who had some real challenges in facing either violence into the mental abuse or other types of humiliation in a workplace or somewhere else. And I think one of the first approaches I took was to open myself up to them and listen to them.
And when I think about what I can do to help someone who might be going through family and domestic violence, I think about sort of what could be the triggers to start a conversation and how you would bring services in and get someone to recognise that the sort of patterns of behaviour that they're experiencing in the home or with a partner or even a friend that's being abusive, what they can do to sort of get themselves out of that situation. One of the big things is people aren't going to necessarily say, I'm being beaten or I'm being, emotionally abused, because they might not know it. So when you're listening to someone talk, it's really important to sort of go, well, what are the words they're using that could trigger them to sort of subconsciously say that something's not right, and then in that instance, what can you do?
I work for an Aboriginal medical service here in Armidale. We are a GP service, but we not only just look after the day-to-day operations of medical, we also do have specialised clinics that come here and do things. When it comes to domestic violence, we do have a lot of help that we can do with counselling, drug and alcohol, mental health. So we're all basically a one-stop shop for our community here.
There was one piece of advice that I could give people. It's to find someone that you can trust and talk to them. And that might be a friend, it might be another family member, or it might be one of the professional services that are available.
Domestic abuse is a problem that really begins with young people, especially people my age, and often in school or in group or social settings, things such as language play a really big role, and especially the pervasiveness of such terms, and if they're continually passed on, it almost becomes, habitual to repeat these, and the most important thing to do is speak up when we notice a problem.
It can have large effects on children and also carers of people. If you suspect that friends or other family members might be in that situation, the best course of action is just getting yourself aware of what services are available in your area that can provide support. Be an open support for the person, give them the freedom to talk to you, let them, and that's one of the best supports you can provide.
I'm a farmer from Kentucky. I have a lot of neighbours who are not that close to me. We kind of pass every day doing farming things and stuff like that, but we probably don't connect like we should do, I suppose. And a lot of times, if there's something not right, we tend to find out from other sources, either our kids or other people in the community that maybe talk to them a little bit more.
With my previous work, and an aspect of it that I found particularly confronting and interesting was the work I did with men around this issue. So what often used to happen is when we were working with women and children, we would go to them and focus on asking them to keep themselves safe, whereas we were missing in many ways having conversations with men about what they were doing, which was troubling because in most situations it was the man in the household who was causing a lot of the problems. I tried to encourage them to question their beliefs and attitudes towards women, which was hard work, but I think it's where we need to go in this area of work to really invite men to be more responsible in their conduct and to challenge some of the ingrained beliefs that
I'd like to talk to you about domestic and family violence as experienced by so many people, so many women, who've grown up in the 40s, 50s and 60s and have different expectations of what their life was or should be. Now, quite often these women will leave home when they're older to escape domestic and or family violence and find out that they're in a very difficult financial position, in a refuge, homeless, or just not able to meet any bills at all. They've been dependent on somebody all their lives or dependent with somebody. Their working life is over, their families have quite often gone, and they just don't want to endure any more hardship at home. They've decided to leave, but life is not as they would have wished.
Since we came from a different cultural background, so we mostly in a joint family, so whenever domestic violence occurs in our culture, we settle that through our joint family members first, and then it does not work out, then we take it to a broader, with the headman things like that. But here in Australia, as I came to know, there are many help desks available, 24-hour services and things like that, because this is a really sensitive issues, and you have to be very diplomatic, and there are many different stages of domestic violence. So if they are really in a very stressed conditions, then maybe it needs to go beyond emergencies, call the police.
Obviously it's a very tough time for someone who's gone through domestic violence. So some of the steps could be, obviously the first one is talking to that person, having friends and family nearby, going through the necessary steps of the police, and helping them step by step. The most important thing is to be there and to be a phone call away, and give them as much support as possible.
16 Days of Activism is an important time to bring awareness to women and violence in our society. Here at Z Club O'Connor, we do some practical activities that help support women who are often leaving violent and unsafe conditions.
In Z Club, we put together care packages that provide a small amount of comfort for women under difficult circumstances.
Z Club will empower women by doing practical things such as sending birthing kits to women in developing countries where they're able to have a clean, safe and hygienic birth.
In our school, we make sure everyone is aware of the things we do in our Z Club by talking in assemblies and putting articles in our newsletters. This is our way of letting more people know about the plight of many girls and women across the world.